She didn't touch me.
Okay.
She didn't get to touch me, no. She was going to touch me, but she didn't get to touch me.
Baby, let me tell you something. When Cardi B walked into the courtroom, it wasn't simply another celebrity sighting in front of a judge. Sis turned the entire thing into a live tea party. And the taste she offered had everyone gagging. This was not a Twitter tirade. There was no mess on this Instagram live. A sworn statement was given. The government closed. No filter, no retractions. Card has never had his speech controlled, even after being sworn in. The animal is different. As a result, when she lightly dropped that Offset, she briefly crossed paths with Chrisean Rock late at night. It was more than just gossip now. An official stamp was now attached to what the internet had been speculating about for months, if not years. The courtroom was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop because everyone knew this wasn't just another of Cardi's outbursts. These were receipts, baby. The absurdity of it is that no one ever asked her. Cardi gave the details as though they were a free sample from Costco, full of years of annoyance and uninvited. It seemed like a shout from her inner Bronx voice. I'm not carrying this alone anymore. Cardi's issue is that she's not into subtlety. When she is hurt, she loses it. Furthermore, she doesn't only lose it in private. She blows up in front of the world. That's how she's always done it. Offset makes her feel ashamed. She gives screenshots in response. Offset blunders once more. She answers the clap with lyrics. She was therefore giving sworn testimony in response. Interview.
I said, if I ever did something like to you, forgive me. Yeah. Shit like that, like just taking accountability and like uplifting my group. That's why I said I could do this shit alone, but nothing like the bro.
She didn't even have to, which is funny because it means the wound had been festering for a while before it finally obtained oxygen. When Offset added Chrisean's name to his circus, the internet wasn't very surprised. Offset's reputation is already so tarnished that people hardly notice when his name is connected to another incident. His loyalty has been questioned more than a stolen Netflix login. All they did was nod and say, yeah, that tracks. But the twist here is Chrisean. When this was supposed to have happened, she was in the midst of the chaos, fighting Blueface in the streets, shedding tears on Instagram Live, and swinging 1 minute while sobbing the next. By herself, she was a hurricane. Therefore, considering the hubbub, it made sense for her to hook up with Offset. However, Cardi's choice to reveal her name in public feels like ripping out an old scar that is just starting to heal as we go on to her motherhood phase, her subtle rebranding, and her attempts to refine her act. The Offset stillness is the loudest part of this whole situation. The dude hasn't said anything. His usual sleazy emoji game is a denial in and of itself. And for someone with this past, that silence isn't neutral. It's unlikely. Offset has been exposed so frequently that no one would believe him even if he were innocent. His image in the eyes of the public is already well established. Unreliable, frequently irritated, and community property. As a result, when Cardi says something in court and he doesn't say anything, they assume she is guilty. By keeping quiet, he may be able to prevent things from getting worse. But it also proves that he is the person she described him as. You're online, kid. The internet did what it always does. The comment sections turn into an online boxing ring. Card's fans were cheering, saying she was now free, telling the truth, and completely over the shame. Chrisean's supporters were taking offense, calling Cardi bitter and inappropriate for involving someone else in her mess when she should have kept it between herself and Offset. The trolls were also treated to a dinner,
Say we hung out once or twice.
Yeah.
And then I used that once or twice as like a motive to say, oh yeah, so he did this and this and that, this and this and that, just to get a couple $1,000s from you because you're gonna pay the interview about you because you that nigga.
The phrase community property Offset became popular. Memes were spreading more quickly than Coachella DJ sets, and the entire timeline turned into a courtroom with fans serving as the judge, jury, and executioner. Card's confession alone isn't what makes this whole thing stick. It's the history. Because of their past, these three give any rumor legitimacy. Keeping her pain to herself has never been Cardi's style. Offset completely degraded her. She responded in public. Offset has a long enough list of cheating allegations to fill a mixtape, so adding another one doesn't seem strange. In addition to Chrisean, she's been the embodiment of chaos from the start. That's the problem with having a messy reputation. Proof is no longer required. Based only on the facts, it is believable. In the grand scheme of things, this whole thing is just another Hollywood cliché. Karawecha, Rihanna, and Chris Brown have all done it previously. Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian, and Jordan Woods have all shown it. Examples of this include Future and half of the music industry. The same formula, many identities, women caught in a crossfire, a strong man with a wandering eye, and the internet using Wi-Fi to act as Judge Judy. This time Cardi, Offset, and Chrisean are all involved. But the script is still the same. The only difference is in the memes. For Cardi, this slip-up might actually be a victory. She has always described herself as brutally honest, the female voice that speaks up when others are scared to do so. Her courtroom bomb just serves to reinforce that notion. It does, however, also make one wonder if she is really over Offset. Because if you're still recognizing the women he's dated years later, it's probable that the hurt hasn't been resolved regardless of how many divorce papers are signed. It is a setback for Chrisean. She's been making efforts to change herself into a more responsible, calm, and kind person. When Cardi drags her back into this situation, she's instantly pulled into the whirlpool she'd been trying to get away from. And because of his silence, Offset is still stuck in the same box he's been in for years. They are unreliable and untrustworthy until and unless they are shown to be innocent. Strangely enough, Card's revelation wasn't mostly about Offset or Chrisean. The attention was on her. It was about reclaiming her power, speaking up about something that embarrassed her, and being honest. In this way, she said, "You embarrassed me, but I'll have the last word." The problem is that retaliation confessions are reciprocal. Yes, Offset was dragged. It did indeed bring Chrisean back on the blogosphere, but it also reminded everyone that Offset's tragedy is still a big part of Cardi's story, even though she tried her hardest to ignore it. And that's the real gag, my dear. Cardi may have been trying to burn the bridge behind her, but she just raised awareness of it. The Offset appeared haphazard. Chrisean looks reckless, while Cardi looks hurt and might still be carrying more of Offset's baggage than she wants to admit. The narrative is far from finished. Not at all. Cardi will keep talking, Chrisean will keep acting strangely, and Offset won't say anything. On the internet, the wheel will keep turning. And in this circus, the narrative matters more than the facts. For this reason, like all the others that preceded it, this story will keep spreading across the bloggers. And sweetheart, that's the cost of making confessions in court. They're skilled. They are not well organized. Both you and the person you shot are wounded by them. Cardi not only found serenity, but also reopened the chapter she'd been trying to close. Offset again seemed guilty by being silent. She is drawn back into chaos as Chrisean attempts to show growth. Since there is no proof to support rumors, the fans are celebrating. Gossip is spin. And this story is more fascinating right now than a half-price laundromat.